Before we start this video, I just want to say I have a podcast now, the Pixel Podcast, which is streamed live on Twitch every so often and uploaded onto there as a VOD. If you want to follow me on Twitch, you can, link in the description. But if you want to know when I'll be doing it or get updates regarding the next time I'll be doing it, you might want to join my Discord, which the link for that is also in the description. Anyway, enjoy the video. Yeah, I know I need to upload more frequently. Huh? Oh, help. This is awkward. Hi. How are you? What's going on? Lord Pixel here, and today we're going to be ranking almost every single barrel in Pocket Build. Hope you enjoy the video. I just realized my light wasn't on. That's kind of awkward. So today, we're going to be ranking the hypothetical god of the Pocket Build universe, the barrel. Now, of course, as usual, you probably know how this works. There are 25 barrels that I've grouped together. I might have missed some. If I did, tell me, because I'm not very good at finding things. But I've grouped together I think it's 25 barrels, and sorted them into 9 groups, which we are going to be ranking from worst to best. Worst being the least barrely or the worst barrel, and best being the most or best barrel. Right, I know this is a long intro, but before we get into it, subscribe, because at 300 subscribers, we are doing a microwave reveal. Anyway, let's do it. Okay, we have to start somewhere, and that somewhere is number 9 with the broken barrels category. Of course, these are still very much barrels, but they're dead. Like, right? We don't want dead barrels. No, dead barrels are not fun. They're dead. Thanks, Captain Obvious. I mean, yes, of course, you can use them for wreckage and stuff, but it's like, there's not many other broken things. There's the broken, like, what am I saying? There's all the new apocalyptic items. But anyway, yeah, a bunch of apocalyptic items, and the broken barrels are, I guess you could consider one of them. But again, we don't want dead barrels. We only want living ones. But topping out number 8, we have the TNT barrel, something that is very destructive. And I don't know about you, but in a building game where I'm trying to build big things, I don't really want something that has the possibility of destroying everything I've worked hard for. Which is why the TNT barrel ends up here. You got broken barrels, and then you got the murderer that caused those broken barrels, the TNT barrel. And we don't really want that here. Of course, you do need to have a detonator, but, you know, you don't want to risk it. Yeah, okay, it does look kind of cool, but it doesn't really look like it has that much dynamite in it. It's just red on top. So, not the greatest of barrels, but still a barrel nonetheless, which is why it's not last. But again, even if you're using it as decoration, you don't want to have that detonator right next to it. Coming in at number 7, we have what I like to call the spout barrels. One of them actually has a spout. Out of the 2, only one of them does. But that's besides the point. These are the barrels that are kind of like sideways. They're kind of like on their side. And no duh, Captain Obvious is reigning supreme today. One of them has the little fountain thingy, like for drinks, I guess. But they're barrels. They're solid barrels. Everything from here on out is just a solid good barrel or above and beyond as a barrel. Why? What has my life come to? Why am I ranking barrels? They're useful for decoration, but you know, there's just that many more barrels that are way more useful in my opinion. But again, solid barrels, pretty nice. They're just your barrel, average barrel. You can't really say much about them that hasn't already been said about every other barrel. Here's a challenge, do a push-up every time I say barrel. Yeah, again, just barrels on their sides, nothing much to say here, that won't be said later in the video. On to number 6. At number 6, we have the special barrels, which aren't special because they're like amazing. Special just because I don't know what else to call them. This category consists of the weird red barrel and the weird white barrel. Comment down below if you know what they are. Again, just your average barrel, but they look kind of cool compared to the spout barrels, so that's why I've put them here. I do like that one of them, I think, is slightly hollow. Or maybe they're both hollow. I'm not sure. One of them looks like it has fire coming off of it, but maybe that's like a spout or something and I'm just blind. Wouldn't be surprised if I was. But yeah, really, that's all I can say. They're special barrels. That's about it. At number 5, the triple barrels. This group consists of 3 barrels, each with a trio of barrels. One is light, one is dark, and one is big and light. So 2 light ones, but one is just bigger, which doesn't really matter unless you want a big barrel because of the size thingy now, so. But these are really nice for making it look like a lot of barrels of whatever's in them is being stored. So they're definitely better than the spout barrels, and definitely better than the special and broken and TNT barrel. What can I say here? They're just barrels, little wooden crate thingies that hold stuff. What am I supposed to give here for commentary? They come in groups of 3, which is really cool though, so you don't have to actually position like barrels yourself. You got a little group of 3. And that's about it. Most of these are just used for decoration, but these ones are certainly more useful than some of the others. At number 4, we have the gold barrels, or in this case, gold barrel, which is very stylish, especially because it has gold all over it. By itself, it matches the some other barrels in the game, which we'll come to later. But it's just it's a barrel. Gosh, I did not plan well for this video. However, the reason it's so high up is because it's actually useful to both versions. It looks very fancy, and there's not a lot of treasure items in the game, that have sparkliness to them. And it is useful in Survival Sandbox for those of you that like to put yourself through torture. So it's useful in both versions of the game. It's useful in Ultimate Sandbox to create a nice little treasure cave, and it's useful in Survival Sandbox to get more gold. So overall, a very nice barrel. I just wish it had some of those little emeralds that the gold crate does. At number 3, we have the supply barrels, which are quite possibly some of my favorite prop items in the game. Not because they look good. Well, yes, they do look good. They look amazing, actually. And they're also just insanely useful. These, which you should see on screen right now, because Editor Pixel's taken care of that for me, are not mainly barrels. They are the first thing on our list that is not... the first and almost only thing on our list that does not consist of only barrels. So that's why they're not higher. Otherwise, I would have put them higher if it were just groups of barrels. But it is barrels and supplies and barrels. Now, what I'm trying to say here is, yeah, it's barrels. But these items are extremely useful for docks and places where lots of supplies are present. If you take a look at one of my personal best builds, Nimbus, you'll see loads of them. If you take a look at another one of my personal best builds, Imperium Heroicis, you'll also see loads of them. They are very, very useful prop items, considering that it's just a bunch of supplies packed together very neatly. And they work. They work as great supply pieces because they're a bunch of different boxes merged together, whereas most of the other supply items are just a single thing or a group of the same thing. So these have a lot of variety for your build and for your supply area. Hence the name, supply barrels. At number 2, we have probably my personal favorite of the list, the barrel buildings. There are 2 of these, and I believe both of them are unlockables. I am spoiled enough to have super build, and that's why I have both of these. Otherwise, I would never have them because I always forget to get my unlockables. But these are amazing! They're purple and blue, and I love both colors, along with the ginormous barrels on the roof. One could argue that these aren't technically barrels unless you put barrels inside them, which I don't know if they even have an interior. But there's barrels on them, and I just took any items that had barrels anywhere on them. So, that's how much thought was put into this video. Personally, I like the purple one more. I like the way the roof, slopes. But both of them are very, very clever and fun buildings. They're both useful for, shops, because there aren't a lot of marketplace buildings that aren't modern as far as I'm aware. Most of the marketplace buildings are modern, and I guess these could be modern as well, but they could also be old-fashioned. But I like them, just because there's a ginormous barrel on top. Who doesn't want a giant barrel on top of their building? If I could, I would put a giant barrel on top of my house. This is probably why I have no friends. But the barrel buildings are overall very, very, very fun items, and I can definitely see them being used in a lot of different scenes, hence why they're number 2 on this fabulous list. And at number 1, the barrels that you probably assumed were number one from the beginning, just because I am very predictable, are the classic barrels. Janish's personal favorite. Janish, if you're watching this video, I want your favorite single one barrel, not group, like the single one barrel. Which one is your favorite? We need to know. These are the classic barrels. You can't go wrong with these. You know, you need a dock scene with a bunch of barrels. Here are your barrels. You don't need the supply. If you want to do only barrels, don't use the supply barrels, regardless of how great those are. Personally, that would be my number one if this was a good list. But we're ranking barrels, not items. So if you want a dock full of barrels, then use these. These are barrels, and there's loads of them. This group consists of what I like to call the empty barrel, the closed barrel, the water barrel, the coal barrel, the lettuce barrel, and the butter barrel. I don't know what that is inside. I'm just going to call it butter. Please do not kill me. But, yeah, barrels. Which I've said about a jillion times now. Holy cow. But yes, the classic barrels are very useful. You can actually mix them in with other props as well to create a very nice aesthetic for sailor docks or supply depots or whatever you're building with lots of barrels and packages. I mean, for crying out loud, they're barrels. They're just plain and simple barrels. You do not need anything more for this. They are not dead. They're not blown up. They're not sideways. They're not in groups of 3. You can place as many as you want together or as little as you want together. They don't have gold overflowing them, but they do have supplies in them if you wish to have that. And they don't have other types of things on them, and they're not part of a building. So, you know, they're just barrels. If you want a barrel, you get these because these are just barrels. But yeah, these are the classic barrels, and they're number one because if you're looking for barrels, these are what you want. Holy mackerel, I have said barrel way too much. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Happy April 1st if this is uploaded by then. If it's not, then I'm gonna look like an idiot. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy. New mic, new me. Hopefully the mic doesn't sound terrible. Yeah. Join my Discord if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitch for my podcast. Subscribe because once we hit 300, I'll be building a microwave and pocket build and doing a microwave reveal. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Leave any ideas for future pocket build videos down in the comments below. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye!